One of the things I constantly hear from musicians is they have no idea how to make Spotify happy and get in the algorithm. You all hear me and, well, some of the clowns who pretend to know about music marketing telling you things, then they don't always align with what I say, and we contradict each other all the time. Well, we're gonna fix that in this video, since I got Sam Duboff, who's the head of marketing and policy at Spotify for artists, on to tell you exactly how to win on Spotify and how to get in the algorithm. So this video, I talked to him about how to get in the algorithm, what happens when you release too much music, how to get on editorial playlists, what to do with music videos now that you can put them on Spotify, and their newest features that are amazing for marketing your music. And in between his answers, I'm going to add some of my thoughts on how you take what he says and do it to the fullest extent so you get your music as far as you can. So before we get started, let me say the first thing we discuss is Spotify's labeling of AI musicians. And this is really telling about how they're tweaking the algorithm. So I actually suggest you listen to this. But if you just want to hear how to win, I have a time marker on the screen right now and a chapter marker that you can click so you can skip ahead to just hear about the algorithm if you can't stand to hear about AI for one more minute. Okay, let's talk to Sam. Sam, so excited to have you. You have all these new different AI labels that you just rolled out. I feel like this has been the strongest reaction of positivity I've seen towards Spotify from musicians in a while. I feel like you guys really
That's
did
great
something
to
good
hear.
here. But explain to me, the big question people seem to have after the interview you did with Andrew Southworth, which I recommend everyone watch, is why not go all the way and get rid of the AI? A lot of people feel like this was trained on my data. They stole my stuff. You're giving safe harbor to a bunch of people who are gaining money off of things I created and theft from me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We certainly know opinions and technology around AI music's gonna evolve over time. So we figured
Mm.
our best way to handle it is to try to talk on shows like this as much as we can, share how we're thinking about it, get feedback on Andrew's YouTube. I went through the comments and answered a bunch. I promise I'll look through the comments here too. When it comes to AI persona labeling versus our AI credits, we're trying to draw that distinction between how the music's made and the artist's identity and how authentically the artist is presenting themselves. When it comes to how music's made, there's certainly a lot of opinions on the internet on all sides of the issue. But what we're hearing from artists, songwriters, and producers is a desire to be in control of the decision themselves of if or how they incorporate AI. AI detection is good at some things, but has a lot of errors. I think you probably see the same posts I see every day about distributors or other, smaller streaming services who are relying on detection and the issues have with false positives and false negatives.
Yeah.
For us, we never want to police the creative tools artists use, and we're hearing from a lot of professional artists, songwriters, producers who are incorporating AI in all different interesting, authentic ways, whether that's post-production elements, specific production elements, instrumentation, to tune up vocals for ideas. We hear a lot of like, someone you have an idea for a melody and you might use AI to hear it a few different ways before you decide how you're going to produce it yourself. And so our approach has been, when it comes to how the music's made, leave that up to artists, songwriters, and producers. We're working on AI credits, so it's more transparent when AI is playing a significant role. But there's a lot of authentic, legit, professional artists who are using AI in their workflows. To us, that's separate than the identity. When you're a listener and you're looking at an artist profile and you see a picture of someone and a name of someone or, a group, a duo, you have an expectation that that's a real person that's behind the music that you could talk to in real life. When that's not the case, when someone's created an AI generated identity, we want that to be clearly labeled. We feel like that's important. And from our user research, a ton of the kind of AI use cases that get listeners the most upset in a consistent way is that feeling when you see a profile, you think it's a real artist, you start listening, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, and then later you find out that wasn't a real person. That's what everyone agrees on, while there's a variety of opinions on, where the line might be on the use of AI in the creative process.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I think the most interesting thing of this is, a lot of people say, why not just hit pause, shut the whole thing down? There's been no consent involved in this at all. What is the logic to not hitting pause? Is it just the false positives? I mean, I know you guys famously, my inbox has been home to a lot of people who false positive for putting bots on their music where they're like, Jesse, I swear on my dead mother, I've never done this. Somebody else did this to me. You guys false positive that. Is it just detection? Like that's what your answer sounded like to me. Can you give me more color there?
Certainly, I should say, in terms of the legal issues, the entire history of Spotify is based on respect for copyright, right? Spotify was born out of the, plight of music piracy and showed what you can do if you do things the right way, have a licensed environment where people can listen to music, you make it so delightful people want to pay for it instead of resorting to piracy. The whole company is premised on respect for copyright. As any sorts of legislation get settled on a lot of these really complicated issues around AI creative tools, we'll be following those fully. I think that'll help the industry a lot to have clarity on kind of where some of those where that legislation lands. So some of that's you wait and see, and you want to see where the law evolves. When it comes to detection, yeah, absolutely. Tons of music on Spotify from really big artists, emerging artists, all sorts of legit human artists have significant AI signatures in them because people might be using AI plugins to their DAW. They might generate a loop or a beat. Maybe they buy something on Splice and they don't realize it was AI generated. Maybe they're using an AI tool for mastering that ends up regenerating a number of the stems through that mastering process. And so, from our point of view, a lot of the artists we talk to who are as legit as they come are experimenting with AI in their creative process. And so, to do a, full-on ban of music with significant AI signatures would really, stifle the creative choice that artists have. And, privately and publicly, we're hearing from a lot of artists who want the ability to incorporate it into their creative process. With all that said, transparency is that important pillar to it where we don't think it's up to us to police the creative tools that artists, songwriters, producers decide to use, but we think, listeners have a right to know and to make their own choices about it. So whether it's AI persona labeling or the tens of thousands of AI credits that are on Spotify every day, listeners can see the use of AI increasingly on Spotify. They can decide if they want to engage or not. As we announced earlier this month, when it comes to AI personas, by default, none of the music from AI personas is going to be in Spotify programming, whether that's editorial or algorithmic, unless a listener actively seeks them out, goes and follows the artist, tells us they want to go listen to it. So our principle is about choice. Let artists, songwriters, and producers decide the creative tools they use, but also make sure that listeners have the ability to decide what they want to listen to.
After this, I turned the conversation to asking what should an artist who wants to get in the algorithm or go deeper into the algorithm on Spotify do to get there. So there's this viral post on the Suno forum that I think a lot about. That it's a person who's like, I put up hundreds of songs, not one single play. And there was this myth when Spotify started that we're going to test out everything. I don't know that you guys ever communicated that, but it was still this myth that was put out that every song gets tested. What I've mostly seen is that you get a little bit of attention, it does get tested out. What is the reality? Do you need inbound links? Do you need things like what is the reality? Like give me popularity score. Like, can you tell listeners what the roadmap that they should be doing to actually get into the algorithm, that cherished thing that grows listeners while they're sleeping?
Yeah, first to comment on the slop side, we announced last fall the launch of our music spam filter, which is a new algorithmic system we've built that identifies and tags people who are, trying to game the system in all different ways, fully removes them from programming. One of the things we're looking at is mass uploads. We know that for real human artistry, it takes time. We never want to reward people for uploading low effort content. And over the past year, not just the music spam filter, we've made a bunch of changes and tuning to our algorithms to help elevate legit human artists and to remove slop and low effort content from programming. So, I'd separate what that poster and the Suno forum is saying is kind of a
So to do a little analysis, this seems to be a good thing to me. What Spotify is saying is if you are one of these artists from the school of, I'm just going to post tons of music and see what sticks, they are actually saying that's not going to go in the algorithm. It's one thing if your song gets attention outside of Spotify. and you're uploading tons and tons of music, and if it starts to move numbers on Spotify from outside attention because it's good and you've promoted it, well, they may push it then, but they're punishing artists algorithmically that upload too much, and they're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt at first.
That's a
Gotcha.
separate question.
Yeah, okay, so let's take
Yeah,
it to the kid in
but
his bedroom who slaved over that
yeah,
song.
exactly. So, that's on that side. When it comes to, artists who are, spending the right amount of time with their art and being intentional about what they release, and they're not spamming, or impersonating or deceiving, that's exactly who the Spotify algorithms are built to elevate. As people can imagine, with this many tracks getting released to streaming services every day, not everyone is going to get the same chance. And what I hear often is that the hardest part is those first streams, those first listeners. Spotify is not the best platform for people trying to get that initial, 0 to 1 in their music career. There's other social platforms, or touring live, or peer-to-peer word of mouth marketing, where you kind of need to get that first critical mass
So
yourself.
I know what they're saying. They're saying, is that 10,000 monthly listeners? Like, what is that?
Oh yeah, definitely no hard lines like that. I just,
Mm.
what we've been trying to build is that you kind of earn trust and reputation over time on the platform. And so, when it comes to Fresh Finds, our indie playlist ecosystem, where we playlist, 10,000 indie artists a year. A lot of them have under 5 releases. A lot of them, it might be their very first release. And our editors kind of go through Fresh Finds and program a lot of it. And once you're on Fresh Finds, over the following few months, you on average double your royalties and audience. That's 10,000 a year. There's way more artists than that trying to get that first start. But that's one way to build reputation. Another is you start to build your audience, you get more followers. When you have those first followers, your new song's going to go into their release radar. The way our algorithms work is the way all algorithms work, which is you're looking for enough data to be able to say, if this listener liked this artist or song, this other person has similar taste and they will as well. So there's no magic number, I promise, where like once you get over this many streams, it clicks into some different sphere. That's not how it works. It really is brick by brick at every stage. So even if you only have 10 listeners, that starts to give us a little bit of data of like, okay, what's true about these 10 listeners? What context do they enjoy this music? Were they saving? Were they adding it to a playlist? Do they listen once or do they listen a bunch? That helps us find a few more. And then you get that kind of scale as things grow. And as you have 10,000 listeners, that gives us data on 10,000 people who loved your music. When you have 100,000, that gives us even more. And so that's the way our algorithms are tuned, where the hardest part's just getting that initial critical mass. And then we're looking at every signal you can imagine. And this is how machine learning algorithms
Yeah.
work and how generative algorithms work, where, we look at time of day and the set and the sorts of taste profile that each listener has, how they discover the song. And we could have, when I say we, our algorithms,
Yeah.
that are built to say, okay, if these people liked it in these ways, these other people will too, and it builds from there.
So this is important. What Sam is confirming here is a thing we've been discussing on this channel for nearly 7 years, which is Spotify needs to see people listen to your music and then they learn to recommend you to fans of other artists after they see who's come in to listen to your music. And if this isn't making sense to you, watch the video in the description on how algorithms work that I linked below, because I explained this very thoroughly in that video. You can confirm a thing that Andrew and I have had a long thing of it. It's not just plays, it's skips matter. Like, one of the jokes I've always had to Andrew is like, what if we advertised a noise song where just somebody's screaming to Swifties? Is it still going to go in the algorithm? And I'm like, I can't imagine you guys don't go, wow, they all hit stop and run like hell from this.
That's right. All the things you can, if your listeners have seen the sorts of analytics we've added to Spotify for artists the last few years, where we're trying to show you more of the factors that matter most in the algorithm. And so that's streams per listener, that's active streams, not program streams, that's adding to playlist or saving, right? Those if you find some spammy way to find a bunch of listeners who then skip, don't save, only listen once, that ends up hurting you. So it's all about finding that right audience that connects with your music. A pure play count really isn't factored in much at all. It's about repeat listens, active audience, super listeners. We're trying to introduce listeners to music that they're going to love for the long term. So any signal we have that this song doesn't connect with a certain type of person, we're not going to recommend it to those sorts of people anymore. And so, yeah, definitely artists shouldn't be thinking in terms of like stream count or listener count, all being created equal, all mattering the same. Fandom signals are what all of our algorithms are tuned for.
So many people tell me their music marketing team tells them if they just hit a number of plays, the algorithm will go crazy. But this confirms that is not the least bit true, and that Spotify is measuring authentic enthusiasm for your songs. This also allows them to cut down on botted plays and promote music that is more likely to keep users using their app. It makes sense. If they're just pushing the botted garbage that gets pushed, people are going to leave the app because it's playing songs they don't like. So it makes sense that they're measuring all these authentic things that show that people actually really do like these songs. Amazing. That is such great clarity. If I see one thought that's festering the air at the most is there ain't no way a human's reading the Spotify editorial playlist. You guys now just have video editorial playlist where you're saying, please pitch us. A lot of people are saying this pitching is annoying. I don't like writing it. Can I just bulk upload these pitches? All of these things. Talk to me about what this looks like in 2026. There's also all these artists who say, I get on playlists all the time. I've never written a pitch in my life. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's really tough. Everyone has their own personal experience.
Yep.
Our editorial team's amazing. All they do all day is read pitches and listen to music. There absolutely are way, way, way more people pitching than spots that can be in these playlists. And that's definitely part of the reality. When you think of the overall value Spotify can bring to you as an artist, your algorithmic recommendations are always going to be bigger than the pure editorial ones. So, a third of all artist discoveries on Spotify are from those personalized streams. So sometimes I'll see artists who have huge amounts of streams on and mixes and Discover Weekly on Release Radar, and you kind of take that for granted. You're like, oh, well, of course Spotify does that for me. Why aren't I getting these editorial playlists that I want to? And editorial matters. Getting that sort of human validation really means something to artists and to listeners, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. Many tens and tens of thousands of artists are playlisted every year. Unfortunately, there's like hundreds of thousands releasing music every year, and the playlist pitching process is our best way to try to make it fair. Every artist, biggest artist in the world, down to the newest artist getting started, uses the same tool, and we have specific playlist ecosystems like Fresh Finds that are just for emerging artists. And with Fresh Finds, we can get 10,000 artists a year playlisted. That's actually a ton if you think about how much music those editors have to go through to get to 10,000 new artists a year. And Fresh Finds has discovered Role Model and Doechii and Megan
Yeah.
Maroney and Ella Langley.
Yeah.
And, that's
Yeah.
because these
The list
editors,
goes on. Yeah.
yeah, these editors are amazing. But there is just a reality where, certainly no one can lie about the numbers. We can get 10,000 artists on Fresh Finds every year. There's, hundreds of thousands of new artists trying to make it in music every year. So I always hate hearing from artists who pitch a bunch and never get playlisted. And I just hope they know their pitches are being read, the songs being listened to. We're trying to help them in every way we can build their career, whether that's editorial playlisting or all the other tools we offer.
So I glazed over it. Videos, getting playlists, you're asking for a lot more videos. I get asked every day what type of videos should be getting uploaded here. I know you guys have some language around this, but people are saying to me, like, should I be putting my daily vlog up? Is it going to help if I do this? It doesn't sound like you really want a spam. You want the high quality content. Am I right there?
Yeah, we're all in on video. Artists should definitely be getting high quality music video onto Spotify. There's lots of new kind of programming opportunities for you. If you do that, we see listeners turning to a lot. If you have a podcast or talk content, you can set up a podcast profile. For our Spotify for Artists video, we're focused just on music content. So, we know how hard it is when you're uploading video content to Instagram, TikTok, Shorts, right? Social feeds. You're competing with all the video content in the world. When you're uploading video on Spotify, it's just about the music, and we want official music videos, we want performance videos, and we want covers. If you do high quality covers, it is going to live on your profile and with your catalog indefinitely. This isn't about get 48 hours of views on a feed and it goes away. So it should be at the quality bar where you kind of want this to be on your profile and in your catalog for the long term. Performance videos are performing particularly well because there hasn't really been a space for that on Spotify before. And we've built it so listeners can save that video and they could listen to just the audio on their playlist too. So you're actually, making a new song. That live version becomes this new kind of entity that listeners can engage with on platform. And yeah, we've got new video algorithmic feeds. We've got new video editorial playlists. And then all over your artist profile and catalog, we help listeners rabbit hole and go deep into your world and your artistry.
So I think some of the important language Sam used here is they want your music videos you put effort into, and one video per song. In my studying, K-pop artists are often the artists who make the most videos per song, sometimes 13 or more videos for each song. And even they only have up one video per song. So that seems to be the move in 2026 on Spotify for now. But we have to remember, these videos help build a relationship with you and your fans and help those fans become those super listeners that help get you deeper into the algorithm, as Sam confirms in this video, is that the super listeners help you be measured more highly to be put more in the algorithm. What in the dashboard could people see and actively look at and go, okay, I should now do this with my marketing?
I think people mostly know all the basic analytics that have always been in there. Number one thing I would look at is the segments section. That's where you really get details into the listening behavior of your fans, where you can see how many of them are just programmed listeners, where they're only listening to your music when it's being recommended to them by Spotify or by a third-party playlist, versus your active audience, which is the listeners who actively choose to listen to you from their own playlist, their own liked songs, your artist profile, your catalog page. And active audience is the best predictor of long-term fandom. We kind of then break down active audience into light, moderate, and super listeners. Super listeners stream you actively more than 15 times a month. They're 2% of your audience on average, but 18% of your streams. They are more than 50% of the merch sales and concert sales you get from Spotify. So your marketing plan and all the marketing activities you've done. You should be mapping that against the segments data in Spotify for Artists and see what are the things you're doing that aren't just getting program streams where people try you out. Maybe you get light listeners where they listen once or twice. You want to be doing the things that get you moderate listeners, super listeners in your active audience that have high stream per listener counts and stay long term. Our algorithms are tuned to reward that. That's when we're going to recommend it to more people. And that's the sort of fans that are going to power your business.
I know what he's saying here is a bit dense, and reading analytics is no fun. I actually have in my members video a guide on the analytics that matter, which you can get access to for $5 a month, where I teach things like that and give you access to knowledge like what's in this video with over 170 other videos I've made on how to grow your fan base. So you can find that video and join our member feed with the link in the description for the low price of $5. Playlists now have comments that you could use. What are people going to use that for? I have my own ideas, but I'd love to hear from where that came from.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. They're not comments in the traditional sense like you'd see on social platforms. They're comments and commentary from the creators of the playlist, whether that's Spotify editors on Rap Caviar or a user curator or a collaborative playlist where friends make it together. Really cool. We've always gotten this request. You want to tell the story of the playlist you made. People should try it out, on any Spotify, the big Spotify playlists. A lot of them now have it. Today's Top Hits or New Music Friday or Rap Caviar, where our editor, you can see their face, who they are, and they'll share more about why they playlisted it. And you get this whole new dimension. Instead of that passive listening of a playlist, you're saying, why did this human curate it and what should I be listening for in it? And then we wanted to give that to users too for the amazing playlists that they make. So when you're sharing things with your friends or if you have a big community around your playlist, you can really show your taste in this whole new way and give people a deeper listening experience. So we only just rolled it out. I'm really excited to see the data come in of how people are using it.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it for everything from telling fans like this is how my album was inspired to, even for me, like I have playlists of like my favorite drum sounds for when I'm mixing things. I'd love to be like, this is great for cymbals. And right what I was thinking and just,
And I'm glad you said that because one of the things I'm most excited about is if artists will make user playlists using it, and then you can make it an artist playlist on your profile, and you could, have select songs from your catalog and you annotate the inspiration or your songs mixed with other artist songs and the ones you're inspired by, and then the ones you made yourself. There's some really cool artist use cases.
Sam, thank you so much for being so giving with your time and with your knowledge of all this. Really, really, I feel like is going to help people achieve their dreams. So I'm very grateful for the work you're doing.
Of course. It's so great to meet you.
So here's the thing, while you just learned this, if you really want to grow your fan base, you need to understand how to grow your music with Spotify artist playlists, which is the best way to get a good algorithm and get your music into the algorithm right now. So I would really click play on that, which is on the screen right now or a link to the description. Thanks for watching.